Right, 17 April 2025, and today I am very happy to be giving you my update on this Thursday. This is a very important day because we're just one day away from Independence Day, and what is happening is that we are getting to the end of everything that we've been talking about, and it's going to be very, very confusing, but everything is pointing at one thing, and that is we are in the middle of a transition. So a transition is when you move from one government to another, and what is going to happen is that the government of Mnangagwa is coming to an end, and the new government of Chiwenga and probably Chamisa is going to be coming very, very soon. And yesterday, as part of the impeachment chaos, Auxilia Mnangagwa has gone to parliament, and she arrived with both the Speaker of Parliament and Mebo Chinomona of the Senate. So you can see them here. They arrived yesterday, and the purpose of this meeting, as I said to you last week, and Mebo Chinomona has said a bit about this, that this meeting was going to take place. This was almost a church service of some sort, where Auxilia was supposed to convince the women in parliament to vote against the impeachment, which is coming on the 6th of May. So everything that is going to happen in Zimbabwe is centered on the impeachment. There is nothing that is going to happen without the impeachment. So that impeachment is going to come. And Mnangagwa is well aware. And also the other side, which is the military guys, they are well aware. So last night, Auxilias then took the speech and what she said in parliament, and they tried to flight it on ZBC during the main news. And the military guys stopped it. So you can see, I do have a small clip of the whole thing. So, and I want to give you my conclusion on how I think this thing is working. So check out what happened on ZBC. Right. So I'm sorry, I think I lost sound there. But let me tell you what happened so that you understand. So on ZBC, they first of all describe what's going on. And as they're busy describing, suddenly, as she's supposed to speak, someone cut that clip. So what I believe is happening is that the ZBC news bulletin of 8 o'clock, especially the main news, is now under the control of state security, and they can start and stop stuff as it's coming. And this gives me an indicator that something is coming, something very big. And whoever is in control is strong enough to stop Auxilia. So Auxilia was stopped last night. She didn't speak. They did not allow her to say whatever she wanted to say. And she has come out in the past week. I remember she was embarrassed in Australia. So she came back and she went away. The military was blocking her from coming into the public space. However, in the past week, she's gone around, she's been going to different places. And this was almost the climax of everything that she's doing, which is to push for ED to extend his term to 2030. That is the purpose of this. If this impeachment is stopped, Auxilia will have succeeded in moving the ED 2030 agenda. And you see the people that are involved here, Chinomona and Mutenda. These people are critical in that decision for impeachment. And for that impeachment to take place, the paperwork is already in progress. The motion is already being put out. And Auxilia is now trying to push for this to be stopped because she's the one who is mentally capable. We've been saying that Mnangagwa is no longer in charge, and Auxilia is the one who is running the show. So this is the whole basis of the impeachment, that Auxilia Mnangagwa is not running the show, and Mnangagwa is no longer running the show. And you see her in parliament, with the two of the people that are going to be leading the impeachment. How crazy is that? So that is what I think. I think the military here now in control of the news bulletin and deliberately sabotaging her so that she could not speak, so that she cannot say what she wanted to say on the main stage. I'm sure she was sitting there waiting to see what her speech was going to be like, but they managed to stop her. And I hope that they managed to stop her on all the other things that she wants to do. Today, we're going to see Mnangagwa in Gokwe. So in the next 3 hours, so that is at 10 a.m., Mnangagwa is going to be at a school called Nyamuroro, a secondary school for a children's party. And let's observe what's happening, because Mnangagwa is no longer capable of making speeches. So when he's speaking, either they put a paper in front of him or they avoid the speech altogether, or when he makes a speech, it's probably like a delayed speech. Let's see what's going to happen. I am quite confident that this impeachment is going to go through, and Mnangagwa is deteriorating very quickly as we head towards the 6th of May. And I've got no doubt about it. I'm very clear about what's going on here. This impeachment is going to go ahead. It's terrifying Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa is very afraid of the impeachment. And Auxilia Mnangagwa is in charge of this process now. She's coming out. I also want to see what she's going to do today, what kind of role she's going to play at Nyamuroro, if she wants to come out and speak, and if they're going to allow her to speak and broadcast whatever she's saying. Because remember, this month is critical. If this month passes, then ED 2030 is going to continue. They're going to start the process of extending Mnangagwa's term of office. And in a related thing, you see that Wikinojva is back. So Wikinojva is back. He has started giving away cars. So this is Madam Boss. Madam Boss is one of the most popular celebrities or comedians in Zimbabwe. Yesterday, she received the Toyota Hilux from Wikinojva at the same time that Dr. Ian Grove also received his car. I showed you this last night. This is terrible. These guys are back. They're trying to make sure that ED goes for 2030. The only people now who can stop this thing is the military guys. If they don't stop it, we are stuck with Mnangagwa until 2030. But Mnangagwa is not in charge. So you're basically stuck with the cabal. You've also seen Udata Gure coming out. He's been speaking a lot in the past week. And it's clear that Tagure is the man that they want to put in. The appointment of a new vice president is coming. And those things are going to happen within this week. You also see that there is no more focus on the liberation struggle. So if you look at everything that's happening on TV and everywhere, you've got Independence Day, but the war veterans have been pulled out. There is nothing on the war of liberation, on the historical stuff that used to come out. Most of the stuff that is there now is about Mnangagwa and how good Mnangagwa is and how popular he is, and also how important it is for him to go for the 3rd term. So crazy stuff, but everything is going to come to an end. We're heading into that transition, and you're going to see a lot this week, starting today. Tomorrow also, Independence Day celebrations. You're going to see a lot in Gokwe. Right, so that is a summary of what happened. Auxilia Mnangagwa totally embarrassed. Her speech pulled off or pulled away from broadcast. She was not able to broadcast. I showed you last week that the army will no longer allow Auxilia Mnangagwa to have a public space. She's not a public official. So whenever she goes on public, she can be given a platform by Mudenda and Mebo Chinomona, but she will not be given space on official platforms, especially to communicate. So they're going to block her. And yesterday, they successfully blocked her from broadcasting her speech. This is the second time that this has happened. The military is pushing back against Auxilia Mnangagwa. And let's see what she does today. There's going to be a response. I will see, and what I'll do is I'll sit and monitor the environment this morning, and then if something big happens, we'll have a live stream. These days, I'm quite capable of just pushing up and giving you guys a live stream. There is a lot that I'm going to be doing this morning. Also, remember, Comrade Nyoka Mabunu still constrained. He is not able to do anything. You see that he has not produced any video or audio today. I know exactly where he is. He is behind bars, and that extradition is in progress. But I'll be able to bring you more information on Comrade Nyamuroro Bono this morning. In South Africa, they've deployed thousands and thousands of intelligence agents. Unfortunately, these guys don't know, but we've got people everywhere, especially kunoku SA, akuzi kwavo, vana Mnangagwa, tinoziva zvese zvavari kuita kana vakasvika SA. Most of the stuff is illegal anyway. You cannot be doing espionage muno SA. It's illegal. The South African agencies don't take kindly to Zimbabwe intelligence carrying out operations here. They are heavily monitored. Everything that they're doing is monitored here in South Africa. So whatever they're doing, they better do it to Zimbabwe, not to SA. And I estimate that if they try to extradite Comrade Nyamuroro Bono, it will take at least 6 months. And by that time, Mnangagwa won't last 6 months in Zimbabwe as president. So anyway, whichever way it goes, it doesn't matter what they're doing. It's nothing. Okay, I want to quickly look at some stories. I'm not going to keep this long. Let's start with this guy. So Mahamba, as I said, was buried. And I did talk to his wife yesterday. She's amazing. She's much prettier than the other girl. So I'm sure you guys have seen the other girl. You can just go and type Mahamba and online. So if you go to Facebook and type Mahamba, you'll see her. Ndombizodwa. I don't like it. I don't think she's pretty at all. She's not as pretty as the wife. So let's see what the wife will say when she comes back next week. The burial was, it happened, I think yesterday or the day before. That was when it was buried. But let me show you Ndombizodwa anyway, so that you can see her. Most guys, they like crazy stuff. So let's see Ndombizodwa. I don't like it at all. Like, I don't know why, but she just doesn't, she's not my kind of person. So let's look at Ndombizodwa there. You can see it. Okay, let's take out the sound. Yeah. So you can see what kind of a girl she is. She is very fit. He probably met her at the gym or at some sort of hair salon. But I think this is what he liked most. She is the girl that caused this whole situation. Crazy stuff. But you know, guys like crazy stuff. Let's see what happens with this whole situation. The car has been found. We know who the guy is, the husband, and she was married to the guy who ran over Mahamba. So let's see how it goes. As I said, these things are real people involved, kids involved. It's a total mess in South Africa. People are making a big mess, and we should just fix our country and go home because it's a mess what's happening. And as I said, as soon as there's something new about this case, I'm going to make you guys know about it. This guy died a very painful death. He died a very painful death, and over really nothing. You can go to Mkoma More Blessing. Is it More Blessing? I always call him More Blessing. Go over there and check him out. There's a whole story on how this happened. Guys, this is the most painful story that I've ever had to carry. The next story that I carried that really was painful for me was the Stole family, when there was that whole attack. You know, almost 10 years ago. This is worse. I've never seen anything of this nature. Kufira Zakadai. It was terrible. Then Sonja Madzikanda, the wife of Fikino Chivayo, is going to be speaking. So on the 7th of June, she's going to be speaking at Celebration Center. I like Sonja. I think she's more natural. I like it. Compared to Lulu, I think I like her because she's natural. She speaks a mind, and she's going to be talking here about autism and learning disabilities. I think this is because she's got a lot of experience with one of the kids having gone through this whole situation. And these issues, most people don't understand what is autism, what is learning disabilities. So go check out Sonja Madzikanda, only $40. You can go and sit with her, and I'll probably send my guys here to record this and see what it's all about. She's amazing. I like it. And then the other thing is South Africa. So let's go quickly to South Africa before I go to my favorite people. So South Africa is going to be sending the Minister of Finance, Gondogwana, and the Reserve Bank, so South Africa Reserve Bank Governor, Lesesha Kanyaho. They're going to be going to Washington this weekend, and they're attending the IMF and World Bank spring meetings, which are taking place on the 21st to the 26th. So South Africa is the president of the G20, is going to be leading the finance track. And this is the only opportunity for South Africa to meet the finance ministers of G7, so the top economies of the world. And South Africa is trying to use this opportunity to try and open a dialogue or some sort of conversation with the United States of America. The United States of America has been refusing to talk to the South Africans. Like totally, they ignore them. Every time they try to talk to them, they don't even answer. They blue tick the South Africans. So they're hoping that given this meeting is a direct meeting, they'll be able to talk to the Americans. But I believe that it won't happen. And the reason being, the South Africans are adopting an almost business as usual approach to what is happening. Whereas the Americans are raising real issues, real policy issues, which need massive change in South Africa. For example, the relationship with Hamas and Iran. The South Africans don't seem to get it, that the Americans won't compromise on that foreign policy issue. They've also appointed someone whose company, MTN, has got operations in Iran to become the special envoy. That's crazy. So let's see what happens. But I believe that eventually the South Africans will understand. The South African economy is suffering from the sanctions that have been placed by President Trump. So I hope that when they come back, they will have a better understanding of how America operates. America doesn't change for anyone. You are the one who changes. The Americans will never change for you. So let's see what they come back with. The Minister of Finance of South Africa and the SA, the South Africa Reserve Bank, this week going to attend the IMF and World Bank spring meetings. Okay, now let's go to my favorite people. President Nyamuroro, doing very, very well. If you go to his Facebook, you're going to see that President Nyamuroro has been everywhere, all over the country. Yesterday, he attended meetings all over the place. Then President Hakainde Hichilema appears to be taking a break. I think he last posted on the 13th, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. That's what I have seen. But these are the two most active presidents in the whole region. I like them. Very young people. And then obviously, Minnie, let's see what she said. I love. So she said she went somewhere and she didn't use her phone for 7 days. Mina, I would die if my phone was not used for 7 days. I would totally be gone. So let's see what she said. Let's see if there's no music here.
Before I wasn't good with my prayer aspect. And then a few weeks ago, I went for a retreat. Yeah, I put away my phone for 7 days. I wasn't reachable. I only said I'll speak to one person once a day, my husband. Once I speak to him, then I put away the phone, and I was taught to pray specific times. So we would wake up at 4, take our...
Okay, go check that out. Put your phone away for 7 days. Media, Vara, if I put my phone away for 7 days. So I'll never take away my phone. Guys, that will never happen. And anyway, my phone is part of my life. So I don't know how I'm gonna do it if I want to become someone anonymata, hysteric. Okay, let's look at the newspapers. I want to quickly look at H Metro newspaper, the TMZ of Zimbabwe. Somehow they're delaying their publications these days. I don't know what's happening. Komawang Sharuko is no longer on top of his ball. Let's see, Herald newspaper. Maybe it's because they're not being paid. You know that Herald is having issues. There was a big fraud at Herald of $13 million. And remember, that fraud has impacted the operations. And I believe that this is something to do with what is happening right now, the delays, the poor quality, the small newspapers that they're producing. Crazy stuff. The only newspaper that I can see from Zimbabwe right now, which is published, is the Newsday. And Newsday are also having problems. The employees are not being paid. They are now working half shifts. So they only work on maybe on a two week on, 2 week off, and they are not being paid, which is crazy. So in the Newsday newspaper, I want to focus on the anti-government protests that are taking place by lecturers. When you talk of anti-government protests, I think that is a bit unfair. These guys are not protesting against the government. They're protesting for $2,500 salary. So I don't know why they said anti-government protest. So here is the story. The government they've been given 48 ultimatum to release detained University of Zimbabwe lecturers or face nationwide protests involving labor groupings. So the people who are arrested are Bonkes Makorera, he's an army guy, Obia Swengai, treasurer, and Desmond Ndedzu. They were taken into custody by the police. There was heavy police presence yesterday at the Reserve Bank at the University of Zimbabwe. Apologies about that. So let me explain to you the situation. A few years ago, there was funding, especially at NAST, and probably at UZ. Lecturers were earning about 10 years ago at least $5,000 a month. The highest salaries were at NAST. And so the funding was taken away, and these universities are failing to pay. So they're paying silly money like $300 to a lecturer. And a security guard at the University of Zimbabwe earns the same amount as a lecturer. However, the University of Zimbabwe itself is a solid institution. NAST is a solid institution. The universities in Zimbabwe are properly run. Great Zimbabwe University is doing very well. However, there is no money. The reason why there's no money is the priorities there are wrong. The lecturers at the UZ are just about 200, somewhere there. If you were to pay all of those people properly, your payroll won't be that big. It's a small payroll, but they don't want to pay. So the person responsible for paying is the government. So salaries are supposed to come from the government. There must be a proper budget. And that is where the new government that is coming, they've said they're going to pay a minimum of $2,500 a month. So that is the minimum that is going to be paid by the new government that is coming. Mnangagwa has failed. He's got no agenda. He doesn't know what to do. And that's why they're arresting these guys. They've been trying to get a new salary since 2018. So myself, I am very, very on top of this situation. I want people to be paid proper salary. If you're in the civil service, if you're police, nurse, teacher, army, intelligence, minimum salary, 1,500 is doable. Let's fix this economy, then it will work. And if you want to see that the economy is not working, look at what's happening at the ZITF. The Zimbabwe International Trade Fair is just about to be moved to Harare. So they're about to move the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair to Harare. They have opened a satellite office in Harare because no one wants to come to Bulawayo. So they actually failed to get people to come and register for this year's ZITF until they opened a satellite office in Harare, which means eventually they will have to close the ZITF office in Bulawayo and have this international trade fair in Harare. That is because the economy has shrunk. And at ZITF, they have failed to fill the space. There is no one coming to exhibit. And to make matters worse, they've had to go and look for the new Mozambican president. He's the only person who agreed to come and open the ZITF. It's a total disaster. ZITF is nothing. Long back, you used to have American companies, British companies, European companies exhibiting here. Currently, the only people you have here are Chinese and some strange African countries coming to exhibit here. You see someone selling Nzungune Nyimo at the ZITF. There used to be serious business taking place at ZITF, but it's now a total disaster. And it's because of Mnangagwa. Okay, I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover for now. And as I said, there are no newspapers for me to look at. I think even this weekend we're going to have less newspapers because it's a holiday, especially in South Africa. People just close. They just close their newspapers and go home. But let's look at Sowetan newspaper before I go. Sowetan newspaper is the biggest newspaper in Gauteng province of South Africa. So let's see what they have in here. So let's see what their top stories. Lutuli was not deaf, not to hear oncoming train. That is an inquiry that is taking place. Orange Farm gripped by fear as 3 young people die in gang violence. Terrible gang violence. And then let's see if there's anything of interest here that I want to cover. Right, what is President Ramaphosa saying? Cyril Ramaphosa is flanked by Kota Minister Velinkos Hlabisa and Eastern Cape Premier Oscar Mwabuyane during his oversight visit to the province yesterday. So President Ramaphosa has visited Eastern Cape. Eastern Cape is the most poorest province or most rural province in South Africa. I stayed in Eastern Cape for quite a while. It's very rural, and there's a lot of open space. The towns around Eastern Cape are not doing well, especially in East London. The tourism there has gone down quite a lot. Let me see if there's another newspaper I can look at here. The Star newspaper. Okay, they still haven't got a new version for me, and I'll bring you guys something during the morning edition. So what I'm going to do is I'll do a morning edition later on, focusing on what Mnangagwa is going to do in Gokwe. So Mnangagwa is going to be in Gokwe. I'll see if Mnangagwa and Chiwenga are going to go together. I'll see if Opam Chinguru is going to be over there. I'll see if Moadi is going to be there. And remember, we are looking at a big change. There is a big transition taking place, and that includes some very key people. Nelson Chamisa, we're waiting for him to respond to the war veterans. We're waiting for Darageza to speak after the arrest of Comrade Nyokaima Bunu here in South Africa. We're waiting for Valerio Swanda's appointment into the vice presidency. And most likely, Tagwire, we're looking at the war veterans here speaking. And I'm going to try to call Darageza again tonight. I'll try to call him when I'm live here so that we understand what's going on. And obviously, we have General Chiwenga. The most popular person right now is Zimbabwe. Over 60% of the security structures now in support of General Chiwenga, and that is overall. And over 90% of the army and air force are already in favor of a presidency by General Chiwenga. So a combined presidency of Chamisa and Chiwenga will be something that is very acceptable to the country, and it's coming. A lot of people expect it. However, we first of all have to go through the impeachment. So the impeachment is very, very critical. That is why you see Auxilia Mnangagwa in parliament. So yesterday, Auxilia Mnangagwa went to parliament, addressed women, and she was together with the leaders of the both houses. This is very important, guys. You have never seen anything as important as this, because Mnangagwa himself is no longer capable of doing this. He is very, very weakened. So Mnangagwa is very weakened. He is not capable anymore of doing anything. So every time you see Mnangagwa, he's lost in his own thoughts, and I just use Arukuita. He doesn't know where he is most of the time. So I think I've covered everything. And as I said, I am very present. This is a critical moment of transition, and I'll be here on an almost daily basis. But vanhu vakaita seava, people like Ana Madam Boss, I don't really blame her. Okay. So you saw me attacking Dorcas the other day. In the case of Madam Boss, she doesn't have any business. Business. So her business is to stand in front of a TV and dance and make you laugh. So if she's given a car, she's probably achieved something. So the only reason why we attacked Ian Mnangagwa is because they've been in this political space. They're politicians, basically. They tell us a prophecy, what is going to happen, the ego and the what, ego and the leopard. Ego and leopard. So they tell us about ego and leopard and what, lying to us when they are behind the scenes cutting deals with an awakening. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say Madam Boss, I don't blame her. The only time I blame her is I see her with Scott. I don't like it. But when she gets a car, I tend to think, what can she do? Dorcas, I know and that's why I attack her. And especially when she goes into the political space. Saka kana munhu asina kutaura zvepolitics, akapuwa mota naWikino handina basa naye. So you will never see me attacking Uyu because she has never said anything political. But Dorcas kana akuzoti vanhu vari kudemonstrate. Iye ari kuti ranganai zvenyu, but zvichakona. She has crossed the line. So that is why we attacked Dorcas and not Madam Boss. So I guess you guys understand why it's okay for Madam Boss to get the car, because she's got no choice. And she didn't do anything political. But Uyu, Dorcas, she became a cheerleader for the whole situation. That's why we attacked her. And Ian, we attacked him because he's giving false prophecies. So that people can get distracted. That's why we attack him. Because Chigananda, Ian and his wife, Chigananda. So that's the difference. Then obviously, a big farewell to Tatenda Pinjisi. This guy, probably the biggest funeral I've ever seen after Jinimbi. Probably, maybe he didn't get the coverage that we would normally give to Jinimbi, but he did very, very well. And you should go and watch on Drumas Media. They went over there. They did very, very well covering the death of Tatenda Pinjisi. His name was Tatenda P. Kawa. He's left a big family over here and a beautiful wife. Sad situation taking place. And this is also my chance to explain to you guys. The roads in Zimbabwe are very bad. And don't drive after 6. If your journey is going to be after 6, cancel that journey. You're going to die. And I'm not making any threats here. In Nini, when I'm driving, when I get to Bed Bridge, if it's after 4 and I'm going to Bulawan, I'm going to sleep at Bed Bridge. And sometimes I get delayed and I have to be on the road. So the last time I drove 200 kilometers, then I just took my car out of the road and I parked because I couldn't see nothing. I didn't know where the road was. The guys were coming against me, were just driving into my path. So I just parked my car there and I slept the whole night. And when it was day, I started to drive. What a waste of my time. So what did you do? Try to use hotels. Musangoshandise mahotera kana makuita pagame chete. $50, it can save your life. So the roads in Zimbabwe very, very bad. Mnangagwa ari kuraya vanhu nenzara. So that is it for today. Don't travel after 6 and stay safe in this weekend. I know a lot of people die at Easter. So don't be one of those people. Don't be a statistic. Right, let me look at the comments before I go. Pain easy. Yes, pain easy. Gambakwe is right panyai cartel. Financial document. Indakuma channel mangwezha. Javako. Vese vane mari dzakabviswa nama worldwide. God is in it. And then Gabai Mnangagwa, good morning to all. Gambagwe, did you see the cartel financial document imposed by US government? I'm going to look at it and I'll give it to you during the day. And then I can't be telling the truth. Even CNN, tukwa like President Trump. Tukwa's with the pay. If you watch the US guys when they're doing their daily press briefings, CNN, tukwa zvekunyadziswa zvezvekusvika yada kubvisa kuzvivhara kumeso. Isu tofanira kutukwa because tinotuka vanhu singaiti. Like ukaona matukiro atinoita Mnangagwa, dei Mnangagwa anga rumwe munhu akatosiya presidency wacho. So that is part of our work, but we don't block people. Twitcher, Masoja Aramba. Which reminds me of our sponsors, guys. Our special is coming to an end. That is 2-for-1 in the UK. And if you have bought and we haven't delivered, please call me immediately today. So if we have paid money into our bank accounts and we haven't delivered, please just WhatsApp me so that we can deliver to you today. We tend to miss some of the stuff because of the volumes. So because of the special, sometimes you send us money and we don't do the delivery as quickly as we should. And if you've made payment and I haven't collected the money, let us know, because you won't get a delivery until that money is picked up. So if you send money and I haven't picked it up, let's just see what happens. Wona kusimba kwemfesi uyo. 1 liter engine turns into 3 liter engine. 1 kickstart and you don't have to crank it. So atoreva kuti kana sekuru vako vanga vakadzi 7 vachivagona, iwe uri kutadza mukadzi 1, you must take move wakasimba mushonga uyu for both men and women. Right, I would like to thank all of you for watching, and I'll see you again briefly, very shortly. Within the next 3 hours, we'll be back here as Mnangagwa is arriving in Gokwe. I hope that he uses the road. Kuti ambotambura Mnangagwa, ngamboenda zvimabhenzi zvake zvinoputika mavhiri kuGokwe uko. Don't use helicopter Mnangagwa, drive Mudara. Uone kuti musoro uyo unopamba sei. Mudara uyu auraya nyika wamana. Thank you very much for watching and a good day to you all.